Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Monday to you. And as per usual, we're seeing a nice red Monday. We've been seeing this a lot lately where profits be taken from the weekend and essentially just cleaning up on a Monday. But good news is we're kind of bouncing off that support level there around 28,000. And when I say bounce, it's still very, very early. We're not bouncing yet, just simply holding strong there for the moment with a decent amount of volume increase at that 27.8/28,000 mark. So I'm confident that our long position here for Bitcoin will be okay. Do not worry about that. That's why we use small position size and small leverage and effectively make sure that we're not over exaggerating ourselves, right? Because you got to be careful in this market, especially when you're swing trading. Exactly the reason why we're bringing day traders to the community. We'll have that here very, very soon. That said, what we want to look at here is a few things. We're going to jump right into high block capital data, kind of see what's going on, then jump, of course, into some other additional Bitcoin charts, kind of see what the back end looks like for us as well. So what we want to kind of look at here, first of all, in the charts is the increased amount of volume today. That's pretty standard for a weekday, but it's nice to see extra volume. And the reason why I like that is because the price coming down, we've got volume coming up. That's a positive sign in a lot of cases because that implies that there's more buying pressure than selling pressure, because obviously folks are trying to average their price down or buy those dips, and we're essentially being able to sustain that price point, at least at 27,900 for the moment. Okay, so that's a positive sign. We've got more bids than asks overall for the global ratio there, so more people are trying to buy than sell right now, which is a fantastic sign. But we do see a lot of liquidations there, and we cannot be naive and just think that, hey, the price is going to turn right around because a lot of people are buying. That's not necessarily the case. But it is a good thing to kind of understand big picture. It does kind of help us reiterate the fact that we do have maybe a double top there or double bottom, depending on how the price action plays out, and some cool stuff on the horizon. But good news is fear and greed index isn't too crazy. We're still at 60 right now, so there's not a lot of fear right now, if you will, which is mostly positive in that sense. Let's take a quick look at the last 12 hours of trading. We can see the most amount of closed positions at 28,300. And that's pretty standard, of course. That's kind of normal when the price wicks down the way that it did yesterday as soon as the Asian market opened, right? Now, looking at open interest is when things kind of get interesting. No pun intended here, of course, but generally speaking, what we look at here is we can kind of see longs are underwater. We got the most amount of longs, minus the late longs, are in at somewhere in the price range of about 27.95, or right there at about, what, 28,400. So those are areas in which you saw the price action come down and kind of do a tentative bounce before it continued lower. Kind of a dead cat bounce in a sense too. We can look at that in the charts, but you can see some shorts are in the green right now, so some healthy profits being taken there so far. All right, so that's a positive sign, but on the back end, again, what does that mean for us here? Well, let's take a look at some larger time frame stuff here to get perspective on things. I just want to kind of drive some things home really quick. So if we take a look at the RSI, we're still above 50 in the RSI, but it is testing that, so keep in mind, I know it's a little early, but if the month were to close at just say 28,000 or higher, then we'll maintain above that level. That'd be positive. We close below that, that could be disadvantageous and essentially could also stunt out our MACD convergence here on the larger time frame. Okay, so if you can kind of see that there, that's essentially what we're looking at. Mostly positive, but also something to recognize. Another thing that is positive here as well is just the fact that we're above 50 on the RSI. This is a fantastic sign. Correction, that's a simple moving average. We're above 50 on the SMA, whereas it's hovering right around 25,000. Okay, so that kind of reiterates the fact that we have a strong support at 25,000, that previous resistance shelf that couldn't be broken for a couple of months back in January, February. So what does that mean for us here? Let's go ahead and jump right into the daily and kind of see that we want to kind of acknowledge a few things here. So first of all, on the daily, right now, let's go ahead and get on over to the Bitcoin chart. We can kind of see here that we lost this ascending trend, okay? Now, this ascending trend was our friend until it isn't, right? And as I mentioned before, you trust that an ascending or descending trend will continue until it doesn't. Right now, obviously, it discontinued. I mean, today's candlestick hasn't closed yet, but it seems pretty obvious that we're going to close below 28,600. I hope you agree on that. There's a good chance of that. And if that is the case, then we're going to be closing below both moving averages, 20 and the 50. Okay, so that should be a tentative resistance, all right? Now, we want to draw out some newer Fibonacci retracement levels here and kind of see where we're at and kind of just double check and make sure that we're on the right shape here. And if the price were to come back down, we can kind of see some of these levels here. The next key level support, big surprise, 27,000 even. I've got a limit order set at 27,000, 27.5, and I'm excited to hopefully get those filled. But on the same accord, leading into that, where's it going to go? Is it going to come down that low? Well, it's hard to say specifically at this point, but we are retesting that level here at 27.6. That's the tentative support for the moment. But once again, 28,100 is the secondary potential resistance at this level. Keep in mind too, money flow index is high and the price is coming down. That's typically a good sign, showing support at certain levels, and the fact that the price is, with open interest and of course, the global bid-ask spread ratio, where we're seeing more bids than asks. That's a positive sign here in the sense that people are trying to buy these areas here, these dips. And to me, I still feel like very confident that we're going to be able to maintain 27,000 to 30,000. That's a good range that we're going to be in here. So I'm not overly concerned with this, but here's something to recognize. We are down below 50 on the RSI here so far on the daily today, and that could spell the price action staying below that. Keep in mind, it only stayed below that last month, roughly about five trading days. Okay, so just because it's underneath 50 on the RSI doesn't mean it's going to just drop like a rock and instantly gravitate towards 30. But there's more potential to hit 30 than there would be 50 at this point because we have that downward momentum. But with money flow increasing, I think that's going to offset that as well. Because it's unusual for the RSI to come down and the money flow to go up. Okay, those are contradictions. That really just implies a lot of money is coming into the market at this point, and the money's coming in to buy Bitcoin, not sell Bitcoin. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's just kind of what the charts are telling us here on the front end and the back end. But all in all, that's kind of where we're at there. We don't need to really bother with the MACD divergence. Once again, we've got this double bounce here, essentially, where we just get rejected twice. But I'm a firm believer in when the price action continues to progress higher in the overall sense, which you could agree that we're higher now than we were roughly 2 weeks ago, and the MACD coming down. Those are two usually bullish signs here. When the MACD is coming down and the price is going up, that will converge potentially in a positive way. Now, that is kind of an inverse scenario there. It really depends on how you look at it, of course. But generally speaking, we should be able to see a bounce here based on volume. And once again, I think that's a very positive sign. So take a look at the 4 hour here. Another positive sign here too, as well as these larger candle wicks down. That does imply that there's more buying pressure. And you can kind of see in its history, anytime Bitcoin has larger candle wicks to the downside and these candle wicks close higher, they're basically, dragonfly dojis, they're going to continue upwards in most cases from there. Now, I wouldn't expect a strong, swift recovery, but I would expect the price action to kind of average itself out and try to work itself up, not down here moving forward, now that we've hit that tentative shelf. That said, RSI at 30 is potentially going to bounce here. We can see a little bit more money flowing in the last 24 hours, and that is kind of going to be a positive sign, a likelihood of a retest of 50 on the RSI in the relative near future. I would say sometime this week. We also got to keep in mind, and I skipped over this morning. In fact, let's jump right into that. We have Bitcoin CME futures here, and this is something I've been sending out pretty religiously to our Twitter account. So if you're not currently following us, be sure to jump on over there and help us grow the channel. By the way, we do have a Twitter giveaway here, free membership weekly. Be sure to just follow, like, and retweet this tweet here, and you'll be all set and good to go. But what I'm getting at is the fact that at every previous CME gap, which we've seen here recently, get filled. The green ones here are the ones that have gotten filled. Okay, we have this big red one up here, of course, just kind of signifying that it's an unfilled CME gap. And what that basically just means is on Friday, when the market closed at 29,720, and it opened here yesterday at 29,100. Okay, so there's a significant gap there that will need to get filled. So I wouldn't be surprised if the price continues upwards here to fill that gap, to retest 30,000 in the relative near future. I'm expecting that to happen this week, but with the price action consolidating close to 28,000 right now, it may take a little bit longer. But no, that is an inevitability, and that's a very strong likelihood. Last thing we want to take a look at here would be the hourly. So you can kind of see roughly where we're at here. We've identified that the 4 hour it's got a potential shift in momentum here, right? Because the MACD is starting to lose its momentum. You can only push down so hard for so long. We're at 30 on the RSI. It's notoriously a strong support. And then we also got that support range about 28,000 based on previous volume at this level. Okay, so we're kind of trending towards a double bottom here. Okay, so that to me seems very likely. Now on the hourly, what we want to look at, of course, is a few little factors. We want to see if we were overextended, which I don't think we are. I mean, we did hit an overextended state throughout the night. Late last night, of course, when the market had opened Eastern, keep in mind, Asian markets opened right here. Price pushed down 28,200, and then of course we hit this little drop off to retest that 27.5, 27.6 range. So that being said, the price action being where it's at, it's not overextended to the downside any longer, which is good. It does imply we could see further upside here with two potential overextensions to the downside. We got a 9 plus a 6, We're averaging sideways here. I think we will probably be range bound for a moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a brief relief rally. Try not to get too into it though, because if it is a dead cat, it could very well come up and come back down. So I wouldn't suggest just FOMOing in right now. But to me, this seems like a sensible dip to buy, at least in the very least, dollar cost average dip, right? And that to me is what I've been doing. I've been DCAing every $500 down for Bitcoin, and my positions get larger as they go down. So that being said, hourly looks, I would say, at par, if you will. By no means is it great. Take a look at Ichimoku Cloud here. This is what I was talking about last night. Be sure to be careful and wait for confirmation before you take a trade. We got rejected pretty hard by the cloud. Eastern markets opened up and the price continued lower. Right now, this is basically telling us if you have a short position open, you keep it open because there's no reason to take any profits because it could continue to drop. Now, if this lagging span continues over here, just say the price does the same, then we're going to be in a position where you may want to consider trimming your position because the price is trending sideways. And then ultimately, we want to wait for confirmation when the price closes above, just say 20,400 or higher. Then and only then we should consider a long position. And that's a consideration there at that point. So all in all, not terrible shape here for Bitcoin. Could it go down lower? Yes, absolutely it could. There's no doubt. But it does look like it's putting up a fight. We're seeing a lot of volume at this range. We have a potential double bottom here bouncing. It's another reason why I had my lowest entry target for our swing trade yesterday at 28,000, because I feel as if it's not going to go much lower. Again, could it? Yeah, totally. It happens often, all right? You can never be truly 100% on trading. But the key is that we take profits when we can and we make sure that we have good risk tolerance. And those are all things that I work with in my trading academy, our community, as well as our signals, okay? So congrats again to our community members who took some healthy short and long profits from last week. Looking forward to this week here as well. If you're interested in understanding more about our results for our day trades coming soon, those are also on our Twitter. And just ultimately, staying abreast on some good fundamental and technical data, it's really important to reference that. So enable your alerts, come on over here, help us like, follow, and subscribe. Greatly appreciate that. And we look forward to hopefully working with you in the future. And if you want to, have a great rest of your day. I hope that you do, because these days happen. Okay, try not to look at it as a missed opportunity. This is actually a benefit. We have a flash sale on a lot of different coins right now. Good luck. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.